Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to the first ever official video on the From the Sideline YouTube channel. This is kind of an extension of our podcast, which will be linked in the description. Make sure to check that out. Follow, notification bell, all that, and listen to our newest episodes in the past, and more to come. So basically, this is going to be my mock draft 1.0. I'm going to make a couple more, maybe one or two, definitely one after the combine, but yeah, this is my first one that I'm gonna generate here. And I'm gonna be doing some film analysis, scouting reports, NFL and college. So Peter's gonna be doing that as well, so make sure you stay tuned, subscribe, notification bell, all that. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So we're gonna be doing this PFF mock draft simulator, and let's just start this draft. So the Titans have acquired the first overall pick, and it has to be quarterback. And this is a no trades mock draft, so there will be no trades in this mock draft. It's just too difficult to predict all that, and it's just much simpler if there are no trades. So starting off, it's got to be quarterback for the Titans. I mean, Will Levis is just obviously not your franchise guy. We've seen this. He might have the worst decision making out of any quarterback I've seen in the NFL this season, for sure. And I mean, this Titans offense has just shown no signs of flashes or anything at all. It has to be quarterback here, and the Titans are kind of in a bad position with their roster. So they need a franchise quarterback to turn this team around, and it's going to be either Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. But the Titans have been reported to taking a liking to Cam Ward over Shedeur, and for good reason. I mean, Cam Ward easily has a higher ceiling than Shedeur. The arm talent, I think, is better. There's more zip on his ball. His mechanics are better. His pocket presence is better. But as it stands right now, I think Shedeur is the more complete quarterback with a higher floor but a lower ceiling. So if you're the Titans here and you're kind of in full rebuild mode, you should go with the guy with the higher ceiling and take a shot on Cam Ward. I like Cam Ward. Like I said, the talent's there. He's way more talented than Shedeur, in my opinion. But just when I watch him in his film, the decision making is not all there. Shows me signs of Will Levis, actually. But I mean, we've seen the poise / nonchalantness that he has in the pocket. Is that a good thing? I don't know. But he's calm, confident, and throws the ball on a rope. So I like him to the Titans here. Second overall pick, Cleveland Browns. Well, I would take quarterback anyway here if I was the Cleveland Browns. But now that Deshaun Watson has torn his Achilles again, it has to be quarterback again. And there's only two quarterbacks that are worthy of going in the first round here, and it's Shedeur. It's going to be Shedeur. Like I said, Shedeur is the more complete quarterback. We've seen flashes of this Browns offense and how good they can be with good quarterback play, or mediocre quarterback play at that. Jameis Winston is by no means a good starting quarterback in the NFL, and he elevated this offense so much more than we could have imagined. So they just really need one good quarterback to take this offense to a new level. I mean, the receiver core looks great. Jerry Jeudy had a breakout season. Cedric Tillman has shown great signs. Hopefully Nick Chubb can get back to the player that he used to be before his injury, but seems unlikely. Shedeur, like I said, higher floor, lower ceiling than Cam Ward, but I mean, he's got a heck of an arm, dude, but it's just the negative plays and I don't know, just the pocket presence to me is just, I can't bear to watch it. But to be fair, Colorado did have one of the worst O-lines that I've seen in college football, so can't blame it all on Shedeur, but the negative plays are bad, man. I don't think either of these quarterbacks, Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders, are going to be successful in the NFL. Hopefully they prove me wrong, though. But this draft class is just so weak, especially for quarterbacks. I mean, let's look at the next guys up. Dylan Gabriel, no. Jalen Milroe, absolutely not. Will Howard, he's been playing really well, but not an NFL-level quarterback. Riley Leonard, absolutely not. Carson Beck, well, we know he's going to go back to college in Miami. Quinn Ewers, oh my God. And it's just, the list goes on. Jackson Dart should be higher. Jackson Dart should not be below any of these guys here. I think he should be fitting in right below Dylan Gabriel. Third overall pick, maybe the easiest pick in this draft. Travis Hunter. Best player in the draft by far. Best player on the board. Best player available. With both the quarterbacks gone, it's got to be Travis Hunter. And the Giants would like to get a quarterback here probably. I could see them trying to trade up to one of these spots, the top two, to get one of these two quarterbacks. And a lot of other teams are going to be trying to do that as well. The Raiders, the Jets, the Saints even. I mean, a lot of these teams are going to be trying to get these top two picks. But this is no trade mock draft. So the Giants stick with number 3 here. Take Travis Hunter, best player in the draft. Just the most interesting prospect of all time. Nobody's ever played both sides of the ball at an elite level. And, I mean, Travis Hunter's top 3 in college football at receiver and DB. So you got to take the shot here. I mean, I kind of see the skepticism people have of if he can or cannot perform in the NFL at the same level that he is right now. There's a couple knocks to him. I mean, he played at Colorado, not great competition. He's a very undersized. But, I mean, it's not a big factor for me. I mean, I saw him lock up Tedero McMillan against Arizona, who is pretty much undisputably the wide receiver 1 in this draft, and he is huge. Like 6'4", DK Metcalf size, pretty much. And I think he's actually bigger, or taller at least. And Travis Hunter locked him up, so the ball skills are insane. He just reads the game at a different speed than other people. If he were to pick one side, though, in the NFL, I think cornerback would definitely be the move. I think he's an elite cornerback rather than an elite wide receiver, but I could see him playing at an all-pro level on both sides of the ball. I think Travis Hunter you just can't pass up on him. I wouldn't be surprised if one of these two teams took him at this top spot. But yeah, if he's on the board, you gotta take him. For the Patriots, it has to be O-line. And in this draft, there's really not much talent in any position, but offensive line specifically, like, the Patriots should trade down this spot and get an offensive lineman. I'm gonna get them Kelvin Banks. I do think he's probably the most surefire tackle to get in this class. I mean, Will Campbell's probably gonna slide to guard. I really like Josh Simmons, actually. I might like him more than Kelvin Banks. I think he's probably more refined. Kelvin Banks is just more prototypical size and athleticism, physical tools and all that, which teams really like to bank on. No pun intended. Josh Connolly is actually really great as well. I have him as my tackle 3 over Will Campbell. But most of these guys are going to slide to guard too. Cam Williams is going to slide to guard for sure. He got demolished in the semis. Ariante Ursary slide to guard. Jonas Avainea is going to slide to guard probably. And but yeah, the Patriots, if you watch a single Patriots game, it's so evident that offensive line is their biggest concern. They got to protect their QB man, Drake May. He genuinely, in my opinion, has potential to be the best quarterback in the NFL. Like, I mean, man, the talent is special. It's special, and the Patriots got a good one. I'll say that much. I mean, they could go receiver here. They really need offensive weapons. Besides Drake May, their offense is such shambles, but the offensive line is abysmal. It's terrible. Calvin Banks, yeah. Kelvin Banks, elite length, elite size, insane power. Love his hands, very active hands. He has all the physical tools to perform at an elite level. It's just if he can get to that level, you know? But yeah, it's pretty obvious to me that the Patriots are going to go O-line here. 5th overall pick, Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going Will Johnson here. I think this fit is so perfect. Will Johnson, easily the cornerback 1 in this draft, could be the best player. I mean, besides Travis Hunter. Okay, let's just not include Travis Hunter in this, but he could be the best player in this draft besides Travis Hunter. Seriously, like, he is a true lockdown prototype cornerback. It looks like if you were to have like ChatGPT generate your prototypical cornerback, I think Will Johnson would come up. The length, I mean, just prototypical size, prototypical length, speed, versatility, can line up on the outside in the slot, and his game IQ might be his best quality because, I mean, like I said about Travis Hunter, Will Johnson really sees the game at a different speed than other guys, and it's really fun to watch. I mean, against USC, Miller Moss just had a tough day against him, and I mean, 2 pick sixes. It's special, man, and I haven't seen a cornerback prospect this good since I don't even know. Definitely not last year. Will Johnson is special. Could be the best player to come out of this draft for sure. The Jags are in desperate need of secondary help. You could really go offensive line here as well, but like I said, the offensive line talent in this draft class, it's not worth it to bank on in the 5th overall pick here. They haven't had a lockdown cornerback though since Jalen Ramsey, and he can be that next Ramsey for them. And yeah, the Jags really have a lot of holes. I mean, a lot of these top pick teams have so many holes. Patriots, Giants, Browns are actually pretty solid. Titans for sure. Jags. I mean, they need talent everywhere. But Will Johnson, I really like him to the Jags here. I think he's like, if I were to compare him to an NFL cornerback right now, it'd be J.C. Horn, which is an insane compliment. I think that's a ceiling. Absolute lockdown cornerback, like I was saying. My only knock on him would be his tackling is a little weak, but we can work on that. Okay, the Raiders at 6. This might be a hot take here, but Ashton Jeanty, man. I really like Ashton Jeanty here to the Raiders. The Raiders show potential. Just look at these needs. QB, receiver, and running back. Literally the whole offense. Excuse me. Literally the whole offense. Like, they have no weapons, no QB. And I mean, you could go McMillan here very easily. I wouldn't bat an eye if you were trying to convince me that they were going to do that. I think he's the most mocked player to the Raiders actually at the spot. But the Raiders running backs, so bad. Jeanty is I don't want to say generational running back prospect, but the season he had, my God. I mean, he was on pace to take the Heisman and run away with it. I mean, he was on pace to break the college football rushing record for a single season, and yeah, he was playing bad comp, but like, his offensive line wasn't doing him much justice. It was a special season, and you can't really knock him for that. It's kind of a reach here, but he's truly worth it. I mean, I see a lot of Kenneth Walker in him, if I'm being honest. Undersized running backs who are patient, shifty, and can shed tackles easily. Yeah, I mean, it's either him or Tetero McMillan here. Taking a running back at 6 may seem like a stretch, but running back is becoming so much more appreciated this past season. I mean, it might have been the most important position on the offense this season. I mean, you have guys like Saquon, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs all going to different teams and being kind of carrying. I mean, okay, Derrick Henry didn't carry his offense, but Saquon, MVP candidate. I mean, the running back position is becoming so much more appreciated, and Ashton Jeanty is going to be one of those guys, one of those top running backs in the NFL immediately. The only reason why I don't think they might not take Ashton Jeanty here is because this running back class is actually pretty deep. For how weak of a draft class this is, the running back position is pretty deep. I think there's 3 running backs that could probably go in the first round, maybe even 4. So you could easily get a great running back in a later round and not reach for Jeanty here, but I think Jeanty is the type of talent that you want to bank on here. So 7th overall pick, I got the Jets taking Abdul Carter. I'd actually be surprised if he dropped this far. I mean, his performance in the semis, man, against Notre Dame, literally, he's the whole Penn State defense. I mean, everything runs through him. The pick that Riley Leonard threw, caused by him. The pressure's by him. He's pressuring basically every single rep, impacting the play. He can drop back into coverage. His run defense is special. His closing speed, I mean, he's a physical specimen. Probably, I think he's special, man. Like, he might be my favorite player in this draft class. The Seahawks, I would give anything for us to trade for him, trade up to get him. I mean, I would do anything. But, I mean, I just know John Schneider is not going to take that big of a risk to get him. But he's special, man. The Jets here, they've had D-line struggles for a while. It seems that Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams are out. But I don't know, man. Like, this team is kind of screwed. I mean, even these teams that have so many holes, they have a future now because, I mean, these guys are getting their 2 franchise QBs. The Giants, I don't know, they have looked solid. The Patriots have Drake May. The Jags have Trevor Lawrence. The Raiders kind of screwed as well. But the Jets here are the most screwed by far, in my opinion. There's no success coming their way, and they might as well get the best player available in Abdul Carter here. And you might as well just bolster your D-line while you're at it, because they've had D-line struggles for a while, generating pressures and all that. And I think that Peter agrees with me on this, but front seven is way more important than the secondary. Like Abdul Carter, an absolute game wrecker. If it's not for him, they don't get the pick there. I mean, the secondary can only do so much when the quarterback's not getting pressure, but if the quarterback's getting pressure, then it makes the secondary's job so much easier. So front seven, D-line, Abdul Carter, it's kind of, you got to take him here. 8th overall, Carolina Panthers. I love this fit for them. Tedero McMillan. I would kill to see Tedero McMillan and Bryce Young pair up. Like I said, he could easily go here at 6, even higher even. Like, the Patriots could take him. The Jags, no, not the Jags, but the Jets could take him. Tedero McMillan, he's a special prospect, man. I've watched a lot of Tedero McMillan recently. Elite size. The hands, bro. The hands. His catch radius, insane. Like, I haven't seen a catch radius this massive since like a couple drafts ago. The speed's not really there. The route running needs work. Definitely release off press needs work, but physically, in his hands, he could be that true outside receiver that Bryce Young needs. I mean, I think that Thielen's going to be gone next season probably. Leggett hasn't really looked like what you expected him to. I really liked him coming out of the draft class. I hope he progresses next season. But Tedero McMillan can really be your wide receiver 1. Bryce Young needs the help. They might want to go defense here because, I mean, the offense has looked special with Bryce Young under center, but the defense just gives up so much points that they can't win, even if the offense puts up 30 plus. So you could go defense here, but the connection between Bryce Young and Tedero McMillan would just be special. Bryce could have an actual breakout season. But yeah, pairing him up with Leggett and Jalen Coker, who have already shown flashes, I think could be a really special offense. The Panthers could cause some serious problems to defenses. 9, the Saints. I have them going Mason Graham here. I keep saying this, but I think Mason Graham's actually my favorite player in this draft. I've never seen an interior defensive lineman prospect this good. I'll say that just straight up. I've never seen an interior defensive lineman who's this big, who's this fast. He's so fast and agile and elusive. It's insane. Just watch some tape. It looks like it's sped up. Like, genuinely, Mason Graham is different. And the Saints offense has shown potential when they're healthy, when Derek Carr's healthy, when Olave is healthy. We saw at the start of the season, they were on a tear for the first couple of games, and it just went straight down. But they've shown flashes when they're healthy. So, I mean, to me, the offense is less of a concern here. They could go Luther Burden here to, get this receiver room better. But Mason Graham, their defensive line is terrible. It's so bad. The past couple of seasons, they've been able to generate no pressures. They lost Lattimore, so their defense definitely needs help. And like I said, front seven's more important. Mason Graham is a different prospect. He's not like a Byron Murphy that we saw last year, who the Seahawks took, who could possibly be a bust, sadly to say. But Mason Graham is a bona fide star, and he's going to be a confirmed star in the NFL. I know it. He's so strong. His motor's so high. He's so fast. Mason Graham to the Saints here is a no-brainer for me. If I was the Saints GM, I wouldn't bat an eye. Just take him. 10, the Bears. I'm going Will Campbell. Like I said, he's going to slide to guard most likely. And the Bears have maybe a bottom 1 offensive line in the NFL. Caleb Williams, people are knocking him, having a bad rookie season, generational type prospect, #1 overall pick, Heisman winner, and he played like that. And they won, 5 games? So, yikes. But Will Campbell can help bolster up this interior offensive line. They really need a guard, center. Worst case scenario, they slide him to center. I mean, but yeah, he's going to slide to guard most likely. His arms are too short. I don't see him being a successful tackle in the league. He has excellent size, excellent power, very solid anchor. He's a great run blocker. But yeah, the Bears really just need offensive line here. Running back, no, not really. Their receiver room is great. They really could use an edge rusher too, though. Their defense has looked pretty solid, though, but offensive line is just the obvious need for them. The 11th overall pick. Wow, it's weird seeing the 49ers this high, right? Just don't see that very often. I'm going to take them with Josh Simmons, who I said was my OT2 in this draft. Could be OT1, honestly. Before injury, he would have easily been a top 10 pick. He looked special, but the injuries kind of brought him down in his stock a little bit. But yeah, the 49ers look so bad this season. If they're going to stick with Brock Purdy, he needs a good offensive line in front of him. And they just really didn't have that this season. The only person in their offensive line that looked good was Pooney, their rookie last year. And that was a great steal. One of the best interior offensive linemen coming out of the class, looks like. But besides him, everybody else could get cut next season, honestly. They were terrible. Their offense, Brandon Ayuk was out for the season. George Kittle was hurt a lot. Juwan Jennings got kind of banged up. Debo was banged up. But CMC banged up. Jordan Mason banged up. So, I mean, Garendo banged up. Everybody was banged up. I mean, as a Seahawks fan, not hopefully, but hopefully, I want to see these guys succeed as players, and hopefully they're healthy. I want them to put up a good fight against us. But they need a good offensive line to do that, and right now, they have one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL as of last season. I hope Simmons drops to the Seahawks, though. If he does drop to the Seahawks, I would be ecstatic. He has good size, good length, good power, really refined hands. I mean, and my favorite thing from him is his ability to get to the second level and block on like run plays, and block like linebackers, quarterbacks. He's that athletic that it's really easy for him to get to that second level and block. So Josh Simmons, really great tackle prospect. Could see him sliding to guard as well, if worse comes to worse. The Cowboys here at 12. I have them taking D-line here. PFF doesn't seem to like him. They have him as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The DL 8, but I'm going Derek Harmon. D-line, man, the Cowboys, what a fall off, man. I mean, I know Dak was hurt, but Jesus, they were a Super Bowl contender the year before, and now they're a top 12 pick in the draft. It's sad. But their offense is fine to me. I mean, CeeDee Lamb could use help in the receiver room, but their offense with Dak in it is fine to me. Rico Dowdle looked solid, but they really just generate no pressures. Their defense has looked horrendous, and they're also pretty banged up. Deron Bland has been hurt. Trayvon Diggs has been hurt. Their secondary, I like their secondary. I like their cornerback room, but the front seven is pretty abysmal. And Derek Harmon, I really like him. I think he's my DL1 in this draft. Deion Walker, not a big fan of. Alfred Collins, pretty mid. Omar Norman, a lot. It's actually pretty solid. Walter Nolan, I don't like. TJ Sanders is fine. Tyler Williams is mid. Kenneth Grant, I don't like. Derek Harmon is my DL1 in this draft pretty comfortably. He played great against Ohio State in the quarterfinals. Really great run stuffer. He's a physical specimen. He has insane lateral agility. I think he needs to add more moves to his pass rush repertoire to complement his bull rush, because his bull rush is special. He's super strong, can bull rush through opponents, but it's only going to take you so far if you're just only bull rushing. He needs to incorporate some other moves in his bag. But yeah, that can easily be taught. Derek Harmon, I really like him as a player. So yeah, 13. Okay. You can go a lot of different ways here. I like Malachi Starks. I like offensive line. like maybe Ariante Ursary, Josh Connerly, Membu I really like. They could go O-line here to protect Tua, who we know is a little banged up. I'm going to go Luther Burden. Maybe my favorite pick of the round. I mean, Tyreek Hill has 1 foot out the door. He's gone. We know that. Luther Burden, easy Tyreek Hill replacement. I mean, dude, he is special. Like, he didn't have a great season last year, but his sophomore season was incredible. And the ceiling is so high. It goes through the sky. I mean, he is just bursting with potential. Luther Burden, he's a yak monster. After the catch is it's special to watch. He has insane speed. He runs a 4.340. A 4.340. One of the fastest wide receivers. He would be one of the fastest wide receivers in the NFL immediately as a rookie. You can't teach speed. That's one thing you can't teach is speed. And I love this fit. Him and Tua could absolutely cook. Him and Jalen Waddle could absolutely cook. Luther Burden, I think he's going to be super successful in the NFL. I love him. I think he's my favorite wide receiver in this draft class. He could easily be the wide receiver 1 over McMillan, but it's just he didn't really produce much last season. And in this explosive Miami offense, I think he would fit in perfectly with his speed, his elusiveness, agility, and his yards after catch, his run after catch. It's special. And he has great balance. He's actually pretty strong for his size. He's a little undersized, but he's pretty strong for his size. But yeah, I love this fit. Luther Burden to the Dolphins. He could absolutely cook over there. They're a fringe playoff team. It's because Tua got hurt and they lost, but they almost made it, which was really impressive. They just need this one type of guy like Luther Burden to get them over the hump on offense. The Colts here, I'm not going to bat an eye here. This is just too perfect of a fit. I'm going Tyler Warren. I see him mocked to the Colts a lot, and for good reason. Tight end, not a very valued position. Probably the least valued position out of any position, offense or defense. But Tyler Warren he shouldn't even be classified as a tight end. He's a Swiss Army knife. He's a Taysom Hill. He lines up at tight end sometimes. He lines up in the backfield. Sometimes he even snaps the ball in Wildcat. I mean, this dude has been utilized every which way for the Penn State offense. And that just goes to show how great of an athlete he is. His ball skills are insane. I mean, his hands are no joke. I could see him being a top 5 tight end in the league just immediately in his rookie season, like a Brock Bowers type season. I also do like Malachi Starks here, but Tyler Warren is just too perfect of a fit. They really need a tight end. They also need receivers, but they need offensive weapons, and Tyler Warren, for being a Swiss Army knife, can basically be a receiver for you, and while also being a great tight end. He's a great run blocker. I mean, the Colts are like one receiver away from being sneaky good, and Tyler Warren can be that receiver that you're looking for. I think it's a perfect fit, and he's mocked to the Colts a lot for good reason. I'll say that much. Tyler Warren is special. 15, the Falcons here. I think it's got to be edge. Like, it has to be D-line. And when I'm looking here, me personally, I would go Jalen Walker. Who I think they would take is Nick Scourton. I'm going to be honest, I'm not a fan of Nick Scourton. I don't think he's good. I think he's going to be a bust. And he's probably my least favorite player that's projected to go in the first round. The Falcons, though, I mean, it's going to be D-line. It has to be. That's their biggest knock by far. Their offense has looked solid with Penix. Special. Drake London's looking like a top 5 receiver. Darnell Mooney showing great flashes. Bijan's looking like a top 3 running back. I mean, when you have a top 5 receiver, a top 3 running back, a quarterback with insane potential, and a solid offensive line, the best guard in the game, your offense looks good. So what's the problem with them? Why didn't they make the playoffs? Their defense. And it's not the secondary, I'll tell you that much. This defense literally proves my point that front 7 is way more impactful than the secondary, because they got Jesse Bates back there, maybe the best safety in the NFL. They got Justin Simmons, who was a top 5 safety for the past couple seasons, kind of had a down season, but a veteran. Justin Simmons and Jesse Bates, those two combined, oh my God. AJ Terrell showing great signs to being a great cornerback in this league. Their secondary is not the problem. The problem is the D-line. They produce no pressures. I think they had the least amount of sacks, least amount of pressures, and their defense sucked. And it's all because of that. It just proves my point exactly that front seven matters so much more. Yeah, I'm just not a big Nick Skurton guy, though. I'll definitely go Jalen Walker here, who's kind of a hybrid outside linebacker, edge kind of guy. Even Mykel Williams I like more. But I will say he has the physical tools. The speed and power is there. It's there. The speed and power is there. But, yeah, he's going to be a bust. Speaking of Mykel Williams, I really like him to the Cardinals here. Rather than Jalen Walker, I think they really just need a true edge, because Jalen Walker kind of transitioned to that edge position last season, but still more of a linebacker. But Mykel Williams is a true edge, and he has been. And the Cardinals they're kind of in the same position as the Falcons. It was really bad. They could not generate any pressures. Their defense looked bad, and it's because the front seven. Their secondary is also not great. I mean, they have Budda Baker, and that's kind of it. But like I said, front seven is more impactful. I'm going to keep saying this. So there's no reason to reach on a cornerback here when you can get an elite edge rusher prospect in Mykel Williams. The offense looks good. Marvin Harrison Jr. didn't have the season people thought he would, but he still looks great. Kyler Murray. Okay, I used to really like him and be a Kyler supporter, but man, this past season made me think that he's not that good. But who knows? We'll see. And then Trey McBride, James Conner, their offense looks really good, and their O-line has been sneaky good. Their center, not even going to try to pronounce his name, but he has been like sneaky all-pro level this season. So the offense looks great. It's all just D-line here. And yeah, Mykel Williams is kind of a shoe-in here. He has elite length and power. But, I mean, yeah, the physical tools are all there, but I'm actually not a big Mykel Williams fan. His get-off is subpar. I feel like it's very reactionary, and there's not a lot of burst on the first step. And he also runs with a very high pad level, so he tends to just get absolutely stuffed because he's really tall and he doesn't get low. Like Abdul Carter is huge, but his body just allows him to contort itself. His bend, I mean, Mykel Williams just doesn't seem to be able to do that, but he's shown flashes of being an elite edge rusher, but it's too inconsistent for me to like. But yeah, the Cardinals taking him would be a great pick for them. The Bengals, again, kind of the same situation, but this time their secondary sucks. Like, it is really bad. So I wouldn't be surprised if they took a cornerback here, but I don't even want to say it again, but the front seven secondary impact. And I mean, they have an all-pro edge rusher on the team in Trey Hendrickson, and he's just incredible. Me and Peter have talked about it on our podcast, but just having a guy like him to wreck the game, you don't even understand how much that impacts your team. And I'm gonna, like, I don't like any cornerbacks in this draft that much that I would take them at this position. So I'm gonna go edge rusher, and I'm gonna go James Pierce. Wow, his stock is really dropping. Jack Sawyer's stock flew up. But yeah, I'm going to take James Pierce here. He was mocked the #1 overall pick at the start of the season. His stock has really dropped since then. His production hasn't really been there, but wow, him and Trey Hendrickson would be a deadly duo. I don't really see why his stock dropped so much. Like, he looks great, actually. I think he's solid. I used to not like him when I watched this film, but he's solid. I do like him now. He needs to get his weight up, though. He's pretty undersized for the position. I think he'll get bullied in the NFL if he doesn't get his weight up, but that's pretty easily attainable. His speed is elite. He's super twitchy, which is what I love to see out of an edge rusher. I love his repertoire. He incorporates a lot of different moves, and just great agility and great bend. So, I mean, his potential's through the roof, I'll say that much. His ceiling might be the highest. Barring Abdul Carter, might be the highest out of any edge rusher in this class. It does say receiver here, and that's understandable because T. Higgins is a free agent this offseason, and who knows if he'll come back, but it's most likely that he won't. But the defense is definitely a bigger liability. I mean, we've seen games this season where Joe Burrow is putting up 40 plus points and they're losing. And so the defense is just, yeah, it's cooked. Okay, my team here, Seahawks at 18. As a Seahawks fan, it's one thing and one thing only. It's offensive line, and it's not really close at all. It's just so sad. Like, our roster is on paper great. I mean, we have maybe the best one. We have a top 3 receiving core in the NFL. We have a top 2 or 3 running back core in the NFL as well. Geno, people need to stop hating on Geno, man. Like, it's not his fault. Our offensive line is just so bad. And if our offensive line was even mid, like, it's bottom 5. It has been this whole season. But if it was even like middle of the pack, do you know how much better our offense would look? Like, Geno would have so much more time to go through his progressions and get the ball out. And he's an accurate pocket passer. Sometimes his decision making is a little questionable, but I mean, our offense would be special if we had a good offensive line, and it's really just the only thing I'm worried about right now. So I'm gonna go with Jonas Avainea. Out of all the tackles on the board, I like him and Connolly the most. I don't know why his stock is so low. I don't like any of these other guys. If we took any of these other guys besides Connolly, I'd be mad. But Connolly's kind of a reach at 18. Haven't seen him being mocked that high. The highest I've seen him being mocked is at the end of the first. But yeah, the Seahawks have to go O-line here. Jonas Avainea can slide to guard. He could also play tackle, which we need. I would like if he could stick to tackle and we move Abe Lucas to guard, but might be a little unrealistic to just move him to guard. But he has looked really bad this past season, Abraham Lucas, and I think he would succeed really well at guard, but I don't know if they'll do that. He has impressive agility for how big he is and a massive frame. He's kind of like my Jordan Morgan of this draft. They both Arizona tackles and very underrated, and I like both of them very much. Jordan Morgan out for the season with injury, but next season I think he'll prove me right on the Packers. But yeah, the Seahawks got to go tackle or guard here, and Savaiine is perfect, and I think he fits our culture very well. The Texans, similar problem here. I mean, they have a bottom 3 offensive line as well in the NFL. It's the reason why their team is not playing so well. They just destroyed the Chargers, though. Impressive. And I'm a CJ Stroud guy. With a good offensive line, he would be so much better. It's so important to have a good offensive line in the NFL. And I think he's been sacked the most times in the NFL. Most pressures allowed by an offensive line in the NFL. So, I mean, come on. The numbers are there. It's got to be offensive line. I got them taking Ariante Ursary. He got demolished by Abdul Carter, but he seems to be mocked pretty high, and I'm trying to go for more realistic scenarios here rather than like who I would take. So Ariante Ursary going here. I think most of the time I see him getting mocked much higher, like top 15. But if he's still on the board here, I think they'll take him. None of these other guys really excite me that much, so gonna go Ariante Ursary here. I could see them going running back, like Amara and Hampton or Caleb Johnson, but it's just obvious to me. It's like the Seahawks situation, but their offense has looked even better because CJ Stroud is just better than Geno Smith. But they're genuinely a good offensive line away from being a Super Bowl contender, and I stand on that. Their defense looks great, like great. Will Anderson is looking like a stud. Danielle Hunter is such an unsung hero. Deserves depoy shouts. Aziz Al-Shaair, also an unsung hero, kind of a captain of that defense. And then, man, my guy, Kamari Lassiter, one of my favorite cornerbacks in the draft class last year, and he is doing great. He's got a pick today. He's been amazing. Derek Stingley, top 3 cornerback in the NFL this season by far. First team All-Pro. Congrats. Keelan Bullock has looked very well as well at safety, but it's got to be offensive line here. I'm taking Ursary. He's an exceptional run blocker. I'll give him that, but the pass blocking is not up to my standards. At 20 here, I got the Broncos going. They could go a lot of ways here. I'm going Egbuka. I think they could go Colston Loveland here. I think they go Egbuka though. they really need receivers. They're in the playoffs right now. I think they're gonna get killed. I'm such a Bo Nix hater. In order for Bo Nix to succeed, he already has the offensive line in front of him. He needs more receivers. Cortland Sutton as receiver 1. He's solid, but he's not a playoff wide receiver 1 kind of level of guy. And if you add Egbuka to this offense, he could come out to be the receiver 1. And I'm a big Egbuka fan, and it's kind of biased because he's kind of local around the Seattle area, but he's special. And I think he's a great person as well. I think he's a stronger, faster JSN, but like obviously the skill levels are different when it comes to like receiving skills, route running and all that. But I could see him being like a great slot in the NFL, being like a stronger JSN and a Mon-Ra type of guy. I think he would be great if he just goes to the right system, and I think the Broncos would be great for him. It has to be receiver weapon here. But yeah, I think Egbuka's best trait is his run after catch ability. He's super fast, super strong, built super well, and his route running is great, but his running after the catch is special. Can create plays with his legs, his hands, insane. Former 5-star, so you know he has the physical tools, you know he has the potential, and he's super shifty. I love Egbuka, love him to the Broncos here. Buccaneers at 21, I'm going Jalen Walker. It's a pretty easy decision for me. Their defense just as a whole needs work. Their offense looks great. It's unfortunate Chris Godwin went out so early. I mean, he was having a career season. Mike Evans, another 1K receiver season. Insane. Like, only one other receiver has done that as long as he has, and it's insane. The Hall of Fame debates are really coming to giving a good case for Mike Evans here. But their offense looks great. Bucky Irving, what a great pick. Offensive line looks great. It's all the defense, and like you can see here, their needs, edge and linebacker, absolutely perfect for Jalen Walker because he's both. He's a hybrid. Used to play linebacker and then kind of got utilized more at the edge position. I like him much more than Michael Williams, if I'm being honest. He is special. He's so fast. And so strong as well. I mean, he's a physical specimen, and I would love to have a guy like Jalen Walker on my team. So I'm going to go Jalen Walker there. Yeah, maybe like a Levante David replacement kind of. Steelers here, it has to be corner for me. Their secondary has been looking so shaky recently. Against the Ravens, they just got cut up. Their front seven is elite. So like 3 all-pro caliber players, and 2 of them being first team, insane. And the D-line alone, insane. It has to be DB here. I like Benjamin Morrison as my CB2. I really like him before injury. I think he would have easily been much higher, like in this kind of range, but his stock dropped because he got injured for the whole season. But I actually don't have Benjamin Morrison here. I have Siobhan Ravel. Siobhan Ravel, I mean, he's a great tackler. He's playing in, mid-major competition, so it's a knock to him. But he's, the Quinyon Mitchell of this draft, a guy who's coming out of a small school who's arguably one of the best cornerbacks in this draft, and the potential is through the roof. I mean, we've seen how Quinyon Mitchell has performed this season. Maybe Siobhan Ravel can do the same. His great length, straight line speed is insane. And I mean, my biggest knock to him would be his penalties, prone to holding, kind of like Sauce, but I think he could be special in the NFL, and they really need secondary. Their defense would be elite with a good cornerback here. Joey Porter Jr. has actually looks pretty solid. Minka having kind of a down season, but if they add Ravel to the squad, it could be a top 1 defense in the NFL pretty easily. Yeah, they could go receiver here as well, but there's not, with Egbuka off the board now. I mean, look at these receivers, not worth a first-round pick. They could easily get good talent in the second, third round. So going Siobhan Ravel. The Rams here in a similar position. I'm going Benjamin Morrison. I like him more than Ravel. They really need cornerback. Their offense looks great. I mean, Puka looks like a top can I even say, dare I say, 3 receiver in the NFL right now. Cooper Kupp, I'm still a big believer. He's great. I have him as a top 10 receiver. Stafford, I have him as a top 6 quarterback. Kyron has looked great. I have him as a top 10 running back. Their offense looks special. Their offensive line has also held up very nicely. So, I mean, offense is not a problem to me. It's definitely defense, and their front 7 looks great. Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, wow, what picks. I wanted Jared Verse over Byron Murphy last year, and look how he's turned out. Defensive Rookie of the Year favorite by a lot. Their front 7 looks good. Kobe Turner as well is a strong spot. It's all their secondary, and Benjamin Morrison, like I was saying, I really like him. He's a great tackler. I think he can be a real star in this league, and I honestly think he's in contention with Will Johnson on his best days. So as much as I was hyping up Will Johnson, Benjamin Morrison I think is in the same boat. The Packers here, I got him going Kenneth Grant. Offense doesn't seem to be a problem. Like, it says receiver's a big need, but I don't think so. Like, if they, like I was saying, look at this talent right here. Absolutely not worth it at this pick. And besides receiver, their offense is elite, like top 5 maybe even. Josh Jacobs, top 3 running back season this season. Jordan Love, showing great signs, but it's definitely their defense. And my friend Ethan is a huge Packers fan, and he's just talking about how bad the D-line is, and Kenneth Grant is great. He's huge, great run stopper. Their run defense was pretty bad. Kenneth Grant can be the guy that they need in this D-line down the middle. I don't really like him that much, but I think he could fit the Packers defense amazing. He's strong, he has solid moves. But, I mean, it's more of run defense. I think pass rushing, he's pretty bad. He's pretty bad. I don't like him. I think he's going to be a bust, but who knows? The Packers really need an interior defensive lineman. Kenneth Grant on the board. Falls right into their lap. The Chargers, there's one name in my mind and one name only. It's Colston Loveland. What a perfect fit. Tight end, I think, is their biggest need on offense. Justin Herbert really needs help. Ladd McConkey cannot be the only guy as your receivers. I mean, he's looked great. No knock to him, but if he's your only guy, geez, I feel bad for Herbert. Colston Loveland, former Jim Harbaugh guy, Michigan. It just is too perfect. It's too perfect. It might be too perfect. Like, Jesus, I mean, this is just a great fit. They have no tight end, absolutely not. Will Dissly is not a good starting tight end as much as I love him. Former Husky, former Seahawk. Colston Loveland is special, and as crazy it is to say, as much as I was hyping up Tyler Warren, Colston Loveland could be better. He's more of a true tight end, less of a Swiss Army knife, but they desperately need a tight end. He's an absolute playmaker. Him and Herbert would absolutely cook. I think they could sneakily go Omar and Hampton, Caleb Johnson here. With a good running back, I think this offense could be top 3. But I'm going to go Colston Loveland. It's too perfect of a fit to pass up on. The Commies, this is kind of a weird spot for them. Not much talent on the board. Receiver here could definitely would be in play if the prospects weren't so bad that are available to them right now. Their offensive line has looked special in front of Jed Daniels. Their offense, I think, is fine. Maybe running back here as well. Brian Robinson is not cut out to be RB1. But I would go edge here for them. Ever since the departure of Montez Sweat, their D-line has just not looked great. They don't generate much pressures anymore as much as they used to. It's just which edge would you take? Shamar Stewart is good. Jack Sawyer, crazy game, legacy game this past week. Landon Jackson, I really like him. Princely, I really like him. But out of all these guys, I'm going to take JT Tuimoloau. And this is definitely biased, I'm not going to lie. Eastside Catholic alumni. I really like him. I think he's super underrated. Like, all the physical tools aren't really there, but he's super strong. The D-line, yeah, I mean, he's super strong. He has the game IQ, and while he doesn't have the speed or the agility, he makes up for it in brute strength and game IQ. And I think he can be a very impactful piece of this Commanders front 7. And since they acquired Marshawn Lattimore, I really don't think cornerback is as much of a need as defensive line. So I'm going to go JT Tuimoloau. 27, the Ravens. I have them going Cam Williams. This past game really made me question this pick because he looked terrible. He completely stumbled on the Jack Sawyer 80 something strip sack fumble touchdown, and he cannot play tackle. He cannot play tackle in the league. He has to be a guard, but that's perfect for the Ravens because they need interior offensive line. And Rosengarten has looked great. Former Husky, respect. He's looked great. He was doing well against TJ Watt tonight. But they need guard, and Cameron Williams can slide to guard and fit perfectly right in there. Ravens have not much holes in their game. I mean, the defense could maybe use some work here. Like an elite edge rusher would go crazy for them here. But the edge talent right now is not that great. I think interior offensive line is more of a need to them. I don't see why cornerback is a need for them. I really like their cornerback group. 28, the Vikings, Omar and Hampton. Another fit that I love. I love this. They're not going to keep Aaron Jones, and if they do, not for long. I'll tell you that much. And this, if they do, like, Aaron Jones has been a complete workhorse. He's not getting, he's not getting the support that he deserves. And if you pair him up with Omar and Hampton, they could cook together, be a 1-2 punch that could be close to unstoppable, honestly. I really like Omar and Hampton. He's special. The way he runs hard, and the best part about him, I think, is his vision and his patience. His patience when he gets the ball, and then his vision to wait and see which gap opens up and just hit it and run. And he runs hard, man. And I really like him. I think he's a gritty guy. I think he could be a great running back in this NFL. And like I said, he would complement Aaron Jones just so well. He's super agile, and his balance is insane. He could end up being better than JEANTY. Dare I say, he could end up being better than JEANTY. I really like him. I think he's one of my top 10 players in this draft. I'm going to take Malachi Starks here, 29. I'm not going to lie. There's no way he falls this far. My next mock draft, I'm definitely going to mock him higher, but it's just safety is such an unimportant position. Like, I don't want to hate on safeties. It's a hard position, but it's just so undervalued. Like, you can easily have a mediocre safety group and your secondary is still amazing. Like, the difference, the margin between like an elite, like a good safety, and like an average safety is not that big. And but Malachi Starks is different though. Like, the best safety prospect since Kyle Hamilton, could be an arguably top 5 player in this draft. So going at 29 is kind of insane, but I just think the teams that would possibly take him, like the Colts, the Dolphins, these guys just fit so much better in their system. And Malachi Starks, there's no way he's going to drop this far, but if he does, the Bills would gladly take him up. I mean, we saw how dominant their safety duo was with Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde, and now that they're both gone, Malachi Starks can fill those shoes once again. The Bills' defense has not been good this season. Josh Allen is really getting no help on the other side of the ball, and Malachi Starks can help this a lot. I genuinely have no knocks on his game. He's insanely polished, and dude, have you seen his highlights? The ball skills are insane. Like, he has better hands than some receivers and better ball tracking skills than some receivers. Genuinely, I wouldn't be surprised if he was a receiver turned safety. He's different. He's an elite tackler as well and an elite processor. He reads plays so quickly. I think, yeah, he could easily be a top 5 safety in the NFL in a few years' time. So, yeah, I mean, the Bills gladly take Malachi Starks here. 30, I got the Eagles. The Eagles are, in my opinion, the most complete team in the NFL. And my thing is, when you don't really have much holes, you go edge rusher. You can never have too many edge rushers. Like I was saying about the front seven being so impactful. An edge rusher is one of the only positions that can single-handedly impact the game at a consistent level. And they don't really have their one elite edge rusher, so they can take this opportunity to take one here. I really like Landon Jackson and Jack Sawyer here, but I'm going to go Princely. I think his ceiling is higher. I think he's physically more gifted than those two. He's super fast. His repertoire is great. I think he's one of the most underrated players in this draft, and I hope the Eagles see that as well and select him here. Great size, great frame. I just want to see more physicality from him, but I think this is like a good fit for the Eagles. 31 out of the Chiefs, going lineman here, and I haven't taken Josh Connerly. Another local kid, Rainier Beach alumni. Tackle's just an obvious need for the Chiefs, and it says they need tackle, but Trey Smith might be out the door, and Josh Connerly can slide to guard as well, so that's great. He'll be a starter from day one, whether that be a guard or tackle, but he's really good. One of the most underrated players in this draft. Some people, analysts I see, have him as like rate him super high. Like I saw someone have him in their top 10 big board. Insane. I respect it though. I respect that his body is super fluid. His movements are super fluid. He's super athletic. He has quick feet. I love him here to the Chiefs. Finally, the Lions. I'm going Jack Sawyer. Jack Sawyer, does he not just seem like a Dan Campbell, hardworking, high motor, gritty guy? I think it's a perfect fit for me, and I mean his draft stock is rising so much lately. Like he could honestly not even be available at this 32 spot, but I don't know how he'll perform in the NFL because he's more of like he's an adequate athlete at best, I would say. But I mean, I think he makes up for it in his physicality, his strength, and his size. But I mean, he's an adequate athlete at best, but he can be an impactful player in the NFL. I like him. And they're also a really complete team, and like I said with the Eagles, what you do when you have a complete team is you get an edge rusher. And they have a top 5 edge rusher in Aiden Hutchinson, so Jack Sawyer could be opposite from him, and that duo would feed families. Aiden Hutchinson, Jack Sawyer, I mean, I can already see that. Jack Sawyer and Aiden Hutchinson, similar type players, high motor, high physicality, and that's exactly what Dan Campbell's looking for. So I think it's a perfect fit for them. But yeah, that's my mock draft. This is my first round. I'll scroll through here. All 32 picks. It's definitely going to change in the next mock draft. I think a lot of changes are going to come into place, especially after the combine. But I'm liking this right now. And yeah, that's going to wrap up this video. So thank you so much for watching all the way through if you made it this far. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, notification bell. I'm going to be making a lot more videos to come, so be watching out for that. So thank you so much for listening and watching, and yeah.